This is the value of wrestling, the revolutionary force in wrestling podcasting.
Oh, you didn't know. I'm back. I'm back on the Big Time right here on the Value of Wrestling, right here on YouTube with the Big Time Rants episode 91 coming to you from the studios here on April 19th before the big weekend. We have AEW Dynasty coming up on Sunday. Tonight we will have SmackDown. Me and Mr. Clark will be here to go over everything that happened on SmackDown tonight, and then we will be back with Miguel Z on Sunday at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to do a weekly rebound, and then we will be covering AEW Dynasty. We'll do a review on that. But today, we're here to talk about Tony Khan. Tony Khan moving more and more like Vince McMahon after recent comments and statements from his media call. Tony was asked on the media call, when asked about negative online reaction to airing the All-In London footage of CM Punk and Jack Perry last week on Dynamite. Khan said the most important thing is that TBS was pleased with his performance. This coming from WrestleZone. And I quote, after the ratings came in, I felt when TBS called me and told me, good job. You have to remember that I'm responsible for everybody's job in this company, and it is really important for us to please the network, and TBS was really happy with that show and that performance. That's the most important thing. And our fan feedback on the show that we got, the rating is number one source of fan feedback. In the end, the network, they were incredibly pleased. It was over 400,000 viewers in the 18 to 49 demographic, and that was a strong performance, and that is how TBS judges the show, and how GBS judges the show is the most important metric I have for the performance. And in the fans' reception last night, we had an amazing crowd. The fans were rabid. They were really excited. They were red hot, and in particular for that match that involved the Young Bucks. FTR got big chance, and I think people are really excited to see Young Bucks teaming up this weekend with Okada to take on Pac and FTR to get a preview of the ladder match at Dynasty. I'm very excited about it. I do think that we did last week added a lot of intrigue to this match, and I'm very excited for the Dynasty pay-per-view. I think it's going to be a great pay-per-view. I'm very happy about how we got there. So you have that, where Tony Khan is saying, oh, the ratings were good. Of course, he had an uptick in ratings, and this week he dropped in the ratings. 819,000 last week, and then an average of 762,000, I believe it was, this week, which was a kick in the pants for Tony Khan. Pop a rating, not continue that rating. We'll see what TBS has to say about that one. Tony Khan was asked about CM Punk's statement about he had to pay for his own shoulder surgery. Khan said that doesn't sound right, but he'd have to look into it, and going as far as saying he would reimburse Punk if that turned out to be the case. And I quote, we typically do pay those expenses. I'd have to look into that. I can't say for sure. It doesn't sound right to me. If that is the case, then I would reimburse him. Honestly, I didn't think that was the case. It doesn't sound right, so I would have to look into that. And that's a good question, but typically we do cover those medical expenses, especially for something that occurred in the ring, as that did. So I would have to look into that, but no, I'm not sure about that. Tony Khan addressing CM Punk's statements that he had to pay for his own surgery. Maybe we'll hear more about that. But Tony Khan basically living up the hype, selling the hype. He acknowledges and leaned into the $2 billion valuation by Forbes that came out Thursday. He said he isn't sure if the multiple streaming options to buy AEW pay-per-views will continue after this upcoming 3-month stretch. He didn't say why Warner Brothers Discovery allowed them to now offer the pay-per-views via streaming services other than Bleacher Report. He verified AEW Trios and Ring of Honor 6-man titles will be unified Sunday. He added one of the participants was injured and didn't get cleared until this week. That's why it took so long for that match to get announced. Khan said that they are up year over year, comparing first quarter, crediting more shows and higher pay-per-view revenue. He expected the ability of the full library to be available. Tony Khan yammers on and talks about TBS and tries to praise all this stuff, tries to keep selling everybody on this idea that releasing the video footage and showing it did such great things when the ratings went up for that week, but they're right back down this week. Tony Khan was asked, would he ever step down? He says, not everybody stays in their future. He never really directly answered. He basically said, you never know what's going to happen. It is professional wrestling, which we know it is professional wrestling, and you never know what's going to happen. Anything is possible. But Tony Khan just keeps trying to praise what the network is trying to hype up. He's still trying to praise a show its ratings were okay. They didn't blow it out of the park. They didn't break 1 million. They're still not any level of competition for WWE. And he's booking matches for Saturday in a high-flying 420 match, which sounds like an indie book match. And Tony just keeps sitting here and praises everything. And the more he seems to turn against the fans and does what he wants to, what he finds entertaining, that small niche of the people he's around find entertaining. And it's just like Vince McMahon. What happened to WWE and why did we hate it? We wanted an alternative, and why was AEW so hot in the beginning? AEW had direction, and they were different enough from the direction WWE was going in, and we were so tired of Vince McMahon basically booking his show for him. And now Tony Khan's booking his show for him. It's the same thing. Even though Tony is not everything Vince McMahon is outside of the ring, he still seems to be booking in the same light as Vincent Kennedy McMahon, and it just doesn't look good. He keeps trying to praise showing this footage was the greatest thing, that yes, this is what needed to be done. It helped continue a storyline, and it didn't. Young Bucks and Young Bucks got booed out of the building pretty much. A huge CM Punk chance when they were out there for Okada, and the Young Bucks making Okada look bad. Him being associated makes him just drags him down. Nobody's excited about Okada. Tony Khan's brought in Mercedes Moné, Kazuchika Okada, and Will Ospreay, and the ratings still have not shown a reflection in those debuts or in those moments. Yes, on their debut shows they had an uptick in ratings, but they haven't shown consistent ratings movement. The ratings are down in the toilet. The biggest pop of the week was, or the biggest pop in ratings was when they showed footage of CM Punk and Jack Perry. Now, this is leading to Jack Perry possibly returning to Dynasty. It seems like he's done with his New Japan dates. So I wouldn't be surprised if Jack Perry's back in AEW soon, but does he really have any momentum behind him? He's been labeled by the scapegoat, and it makes no damn sense why he would align with the EVPs or be friendly with Tony Khan when it was Tony Khan that suspended him and pretty much made him the scapegoat, blamed it on him, set him up to be the fall guy. And I'm supposed to buy that Jack Perry's going to come back and align himself with the Elite and feel like he just fits in and that they're his friend and buddy. All friends wrestling. That's what we're always looking at. But Tony Khan continuously just turning on the fans. Doesn't take the critiques or criticism he used to. He used to listen to fans and try to make things different and change them up when he heard from the fans. But now it's just like he's tuned out and he's going to do whatever he wants to do, regardless if it's good for business or helps any ratings. And Dynasty is an overloaded card. We have 12 matches. 12 matches to deal with. Yes, 2 of those are going to be on the 0-hour show, but it's still 12 matches. That's a lot of matches. I don't think everybody's looking for just high impact. If it's all about wrestling in-ring work, that's a lot to suffer through and get through. Watch 12 matches. Does anybody understand that 12 matches that are supposed to be real wrestling matches without the storylines, without the other filler stuff? And everybody's excited about that, to sit down for 12 hours. Or for 12 hours, could be 12 hours, but no, sit down for several hours, 4 to 5 hours, well, 6 hours if you had 0-hour in there, and watch 12 consistent back-to-back matches with really no great storylines in any of them. In all honesty, I mean, it's very lackluster in the build for Dynasty, and there isn't a whole lot of storylines to most of these matches. There's little storylines. Granted, we can say that there are some minor storylines or some basic storylines in some of these. I'm trying to find if I can get the there we go. Sorry, I was looking for the match card. Got a little distracted there. So we have what are we doing? We don't need to go crazy here. Thank you. Let's see. Let's look at the 12 matches. We have True Beretta versus Matt Sydal on the 0-hour. There's nothing there. Orange Cassidy with Shibata against Shane Taylor and Lee Moriarty, which is just a short thrown together. Both those matches are going to be on 0-hour. They're meaningless. They could have been on a Dynasty or Dynamite show and been just fine. The unification of the Ring of Honor 6-man tags and the AEW Trios titles. Those titles are going to be unified. It's probably the best thing for these these sets of titles to be unified. The Acclaimed and Bullet Club Gold. This story's just been going on and got ridiculous. First they were enemies, then they aligned with one another. The continuous the storyline's just been bad and made Jay White to look like a total joke. Jericho and Hook for the FTW title. Why? We didn't need this. We don't want it. Jericho pushes Taz down on Dynamite. Hook grabs him up around the shoulder. I mean, just if your dad's pushed down and your dad's the one that taught you and brought you in this business and helped you get where you are today and did all these things, and that's your dad, Hook sure didn't show like he had any passion, like his dad just got assaulted. So it's just, it's a goofy storyline. Hook has fallen from where he was when he was supposed to be fighting Joe for the world title. I feel like something special to being in a match with Jericho at a last minute throw together match for the FTW title. Why? I don't know. The rated Chicken Kings, Cox, whatever versus the House of Black. Why is the TNT title not on the line? Cope Open. Where's the Cope Open been? TNT title not on the line in this weird match that nobody cares about. Will Nightingale versus Julia Hart. They've slightly built this storyline. I'm sure Mercedes Moné is going to be an influence in this match. That should be a good match in the ring. Okada versus Pac. No real storyline. Pac came back, wanted a feud with Okada. Okada won the Continental Crown, or the Continental Championship. Pac wants a shot at it. They're going to give it to him. Okada ain't losing yet. The Young Bucks FTR ladder match. Who cares? They've killed that storyline. That storyline could have been built up on just their history. Whatever. Roderick Strong's going to defend the International Championship against Kyle O'Reilly because Roderick Strong attacked Kyle O'Reilly. Kyle O'Reilly, not even in the rankings, is getting a title shot. Thunder Rosa versus Tony Storm. Tony Storm going to win. Why am I going to be excited about what's going to go on here? In-ring work. Most of these matches are going to be great. Like Will Ospreay versus Bryan Danielson is going to give us a good 30-minute classic. Awesome match. But don't care about it in the sense of, like, I'm not like necessarily excited for it. What I see in the ring will be good. Yes, I know that. But otherwise, there's no excitement. There's nothing that draws me into this card and goes, ooh, I want to see that match. Is Bryan Danielson and Will Ospreay a once-in-a-lifetime big opportunity match? Yes. Wrestling's going to be great, but I'm not drawn in that, if I miss it, oh no. And then, you have Samoa Joe versus Swerve Strickland for the AEW World Championship. This should be the biggest match on the card. This should be the hype that's the biggest match on the card, and it's not. Will Ospreay's going to have his big moment and get the title, hopefully. But Tony Khan hasn't booked anything in here to be overly excited for. Is there several good matches here? Sure. In-ring, based on just in-ring. Yeah, great matches. There's nothing that makes me want to go out and buy this pay-per-view. Why should I spend my $50, $60 on your pay-per-view, Tony? That's the key. Why should I buy that pay-per-view? Are there some good matches there? Yes, but is that the only reason? What is the intrigue? What happens afterwards? Where do all these stories go? Who really feels important? Who comes out of this feeling any more important? In what direction? You haven't really given any of this. You just kind of book for your happiness. You book for what makes you get you kicks and giggles. And being like Vince McMahon. Now, granted, we're not going to compare you to outside of, stuff with Vince because you're far from that. And this isn't necessarily trying to put down Tony Khan. It's just trying to look at Tony and go, what are we doing, Tony? Is this where you think it should go? Is this what you think works? Is this really what you see is best for business? Your ratings are not there. You can't sell out arenas. You're barely getting 3,000 people in the arenas. And your TV ratings are not great. And suppose you're going to have this big new deal with Warner Brothers Discovery. We'll see what happens. Are you going to have that? Where's all these deals you promised us, Tony? Where's all these great things that you promised us? It's going to be interesting. Sunday should be a show. If you're a hardcore AEW fan, you're already going to watch it. If you're a wrestling fan that loves any of these matches, you're probably going to watch it. But anybody else that's half lukewarm probably won't. There's just no reason to spend that $50, $60 out of a hard-earned paycheck because you just haven't gotten people excited. That's the difference. You can build a match. You can say, Bryan versus Ospreay, a once-in-a-lifetime match, yada, yada, yada. That's great. But is that really worth the $50, $60 that it's going to cost you to get it? Are people willing to part with 50, 60 bucks in this day and age with the rate of inflation? Maybe one really good match. Everything else is just kind of blah. You haven't built the excitement and the hype. You didn't tell a story like WWE told a story with Cody Rhodes. Everyone wanted to make sure Cody was going to finish his story at WrestleMania. Are you as excited for Will Ospreay to finish his story as you are for Cody? Set it up right, Tony. Is Will Ospreay's big moment in AEW? Will he capitalize and beat Bryan Danielson? Will he finally earn his spot and be that guy? Will he be the one that's better than Bryan Danielson to be labeled as the best in the world, the best wrestler in the world? Have you built that hype? Really made it that interesting? Or did you let Ospreay go out there and make comments about another guy in another company that wasn't necessary? See, you're not building the hype behind the match to make people go, I must watch, I must see, must have. In-ring work, great match, but where is the hype? Where is the story that there's something here? There's something to look at. There's something to get excited about. Will Ospreay beating Bryan Danielson, becoming the best in the world, being able to claim himself as the best wrestler in the world by beating Bryan Danielson. Swerve Strickland becoming the first black AEW champion. Getting his crowning moment, finishing his story. It's there, but you haven't really hyped up on it. Like, you don't have everybody talking about that. A lot more people are talking maybe Ospreay Bryan. A lot of people are talking about FTR Young Bucks. That seems to be the center look. Will the Young Bucks become 3-time tag team champions? Will the FTR be the first ever 3-time tag team champions in AEW history? And why are we talking about 3-time champions? Company that's only 5 years old. Don't trust enough people, Tony. You don't help get enough people over. You want to buy talent so you can keep ratings up, but that's not even doing anything. Mercedes Moné, not really moving the needle. Kazuchika Okada, definitely not moving the needle. Will Ospreay, people watch, but that's it. They come in, they watch Ospreay, they leave. Why did you have a good rating at the end of your show this week? I mean, let's look at that. I mean, fact of the matter is, you started with 917,000 viewers coming into the show. After that first quarter hour, you dropped down to 865,000. By the time the Young Bucks were on, you lost down to 725,000. So you lost let's see, that's 35,000. That was about 53,000 the first quarter hour. And then from there, you lost another 140. So you lost almost 200,000 in your first half hour of a show. Not good, Tony. And we want to stay in your demographics. It looked like your highest 373, 381, 310, 339, 321, 308, 341, maybe in the mid 350s. Is this where your ratings are? Is this what you're happy about, Tony? I think the network's going to get you. I think you're making a lot of promises you can't follow through on, Tony. I think we're living in a dangerous time. You want to book for you, not take the fans and their criticism. You're out here lashing out at the fans. They don't like it, then no, it's not my problem. And then you're going out here telling people, well, we're in this day and age. If you don't know who they are, you should be doing your research. No, Tony, you're supposed to print these people as superstars. You're supposed to tell us about them. And how do you do that? You're supposed to tell us who they are, why they're here, why we should feel they're important. You're supposed to hype them up so when they come in the door, everybody's hyped and excited to see this person, that their butt's in the seat, that their TV's tuning in because they have to see who this person is. Telling people to go Google it, they'll go Google it. Okay, cool. Watch this footage and go, you're the one that's supposed to sell them. This is your business. You're a salesman also, right? That's all part of the storytelling. You buy a product and now you got to sell it to your audience. You bring Kazuchika Okada in and and a group of people don't know who Okada is, and you don't present him because you're like, oh, people can go look it up. It's a whole different day and age. I could go get on the internet, look it up. Not everybody wants to do that. And anyways, it doesn't even matter. Even the people who go look it up, you need to package him for your brand to make it feel important, like he's going to be even bigger and better than he was in New Japan Pro Wrestling. The same thing with Mercedes Moné. You're supposed to hype these people up. You're supposed to give them something that launches them, something that makes people want to come and watch them and go, oh, I want to see this big debut. I want to be here. This is going to be exciting. We're getting Mercedes Moné. What is Mercedes Moné? Oh, she's a former IWGP Women's Champion in that. I'm just saying. Sell it. But you don't want to because you want to be lazy. You want to hate the fans. You want to be the future Vince McMahon. That's the level you're going at. You want to book indie Fed style and book for your favorites. It's a sad day. Tell me what you think in the comments below. Like we always say, you're welcome to your comments here. You don't always have to agree with what I say. I'm just trying to point out a certain view here, a certain thing that I see that's going on. It's not about hating on Tony Khan. It's not about hating on AEW. I want AEW to succeed. AEW used to be good, used to be damn good, actually felt important. There was drive and there was something there to watch. Now it's just kind of like, oh, here's a match. Watch it. What's the fallout? What's the purpose? Rankings matter, don't matter. Rankings matter, rankings don't matter. Rankings matter, rankings don't matter. Make it make sense. Make it fit. Make it work. Make it tell me on why I should still be watching your product and reviewing it. Why should I be more excited about your program than what's going on in WWE? Not see how they just sold Cody Rhodes. Told the story over 2 years. Made it make sense. Made it important. And had a big celebration at the end. Swerve Strickland's match should feel that important. But it doesn't. I'm sorry, Tony. Reach out to us, Tony. ValueWrestling at valuewrestling@gmail.com. I'd love to sit down and have a conversation with you, Tony, so you can explain to me your side. Explain to me what you're thinking. Maybe we can come to an understanding. Not about hating on you. It's about going, this isn't working. A lot of people agree. A lot of the people that know agree. Your fan base, they defend you, and that's great. That hardcore fan base, that's great. But that hardcore fan base is not going to support you forever. Ted Turner was a billionaire. Dixie Carter's family, billionaires. You're a billionaire. Just because you're a billionaire and have a lot of money doesn't mean AEW can't fail. WCW did. TNA got bought out, almost died, barely hanging on by a shoestring at some points. It's iffy now. There's good stuff about it, but I'm saying, not careful, you won't exist in AEW, or AEW won't exist at all. I mean, are you willing to think about this? You want to save AEW so there's a great future for everybody? Or are you really to start thinking about selling that tape library, selling the rights of AEW, selling the name AEW, all of that? Make sure you give this a big thumbs up. Drop your comments below. Make sure you ring that bell for notifications, because you never know when we're going to be live or new content's going to come out. We will be back later tonight, me and Mr. Clark, to cover SmackDown. Whole review show there. Please be here for that. Hit that subscribe button. Join the Value Wrestling family. Become part of the fastest growing wrestling podcast in the IWC. Believe that. Put some respect on our name, because we are the Value Wrestling. We are here to be contenders, not pretenders. We are going to be the best at this, and that's a guarantee. I'm telling you, it's not a prediction. That is a spoiler. So I'll see you on the next one.